Welcome back, everyone, to iCup StarCraft TV. You'll be your host and caster, iCCup.Face here, and today we're going to be having our C-Rank tournament once more ran by iCCup.Face when this was when this was going on about 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, because this was played on the 21st of February of this year. And let's introduce our players here, spawning here at the 1 o'clock position. It'll be none other than Wallace, and then at the 2 or 3 o'clock position, making this close by air positions, it will be the Yellow Terran HanDy, making this a TDP. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping for an interesting match. Python, to be honest, I actually haven't seen. Python's not necessarily a bad map. I believe it was kind of like the predecessor to what nowadays was Fighting Spirit, but I wasn't, I mean, that's what I've just heard and stuff like that. I mean, I wasn't a participant of the active Brood War community 3 years back, unfortunately. I did kind of miss out, but Terran looks like I'm actually going to want to try to wall off here, and we'll see if this, what we will try to see here now. Oh, going to be putting down that gas first. Was seeing that it was going to be going for the gas skill right away, and ultimately did get deflected off. So well done indeed. Now Protoss going to be doing the pretty standard. Now we'll see what Protoss will have in store. There's definitely a possibility for shuttle play for quick Reavers. But we'll see how that will be dealt with. Of course, Terran on the other flip side can just put a one like a ring of turrets around this area and just really kind of negate any kind of quick airplay in general. I mean, the shuttle is considered air, and really shut that down and punish it. And it's really going to leave Protoss behind, which is, I really like these positions. I think there's a lot of mind games going on, but also the fact that different opportunities to do different builds. I think that's it's a really great time to do that, especially in C-Ranks where players know different builds. They're not just constantly practicing the same 1 racks FE into 6 racks, +1, deflecting betas, and then go for a counter push. I mean, like, just make sure your mechanics down. But I mean, these C rankers, have different builds up their sleeves, and we'll see how that will go down. As we do see, it is going to be so far only 1 gateway thrown down. Of course, that is subject to change further on in the build order. If we were to see a 2-gate pressure right here, which definitely could be something that can be super annoying. When you're coming from a StarCraft 2 tendency, you tend to wall off as Terran, because it's like, well, now no, you can't harm me, I can wall off. Well, this is a tight wall in terms of Zealot and Dragoon proof. Sometimes if you just throw up to like 2 gates of goons, like, you can't hold yourself because they have so long of range. It looks like it's going to be a siege expand. It could be an FD. It could be an FD Terran, actually, when I think about it. And we'll see what it will be. If he queues up a second tank, probably means siege, like a siege expand. But yeah, which is kind of unfortunate as well. But this. If Terran did decide to go for a siege expand instead of going for an FD Terran, this actually isn't terribly bad either, because when you're doing a siege expand, you're really playing in the dark from Protoss. You really don't know what they're doing, but because that SCV was in there for so long, did see that it was a quick robo before the first gateway, so that could very well mean quick support bay being thrown down, which of course means Reavers. If not, of course, Protoss could always change what they want to do. And is this going to be an FD Terran? No, it will just be a siege expand coming up right here. So they're going to be playing it safe, but also be playing in the dark a bit too. Now this tank needs to be a little bit careful, and again, an issue with this wall off, because getting back to my initial point, this wall off is nice, and by no means am I doubting any kind of wall play. But if you're a newer player like myself, or a really bad player like myself, rather, it can be annoying. Not how do I say? Once the goons get up to your top of your ramp, they can cause devastation across the main base of Terran, which you really don't want to have happen. Which is why you generally want to pull, like, you want to get like 5 Marines or whatever, and then like 3 SCVs and pulled. You will lose a part of your economy, but you will be, safe. It's pretty much just as safe as a. It looks like actually will be observers. I guess it won't be reavers. I've kind of just lost my train of thought. But anyway, so Terran gonna be getting up those tank numbers, just constant siege production right now. Gonna be throwing down the factories now. This map, where does Terran take a third? Actually, I don't really see a whole lot of matches on this matchup. I guess I would say lift off to the back corner. But surely that's not going to happen, because then, Protoss are just going to easily just, elevate themselves right in there. So, so Terran's going to actually not have a super easy case for a third right here, which may mean we have a 2-base aggression of a Terran coming in here. We could even see... no, I was going to say we could potentially see a deep 6, but no. That would be too good. And like I said, the earlier game, just in case if there was a potentiality for Reavers, he already has his, he put these turrets in these specific locations for a reason, to catch any kind of obs, and or shuttles, of course. So, really thinking ahead, really playing up the map with the positions. Really liked seeing that. Now, Protoss, behind all this of me talking, has taken a third base. This does have a gas. And 8 mineral patches, so a full base right here. There are some of these like pocket expansions where they're mineral only, but yeah. And look at this, Terran just scouting off with his Marine, checking around, making sure there aren't any hidden expos. I lost a TVT, I believe 2 days ago on ladder because I thought I was winning and I was containing, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna finally win a TVT, and then no. Because they had... it was on a winning cloud, and it was vertical positions, and in the top left-hand corner, they just took the whole, like, the tri-sector of bases, and I was like, well, shit, now I can't win, because they got too many tanks up. But, yes, it wasn't a pleasurable experience. So, ultimately, if you have a Marine in TVP, scout with it, because better chances are that it's better to search for bases than it's not. You never want to be caught off position, not have a bases. You don't want to have what happens to me. Nor do you want to lose to mass scout, which have happened to me as well, which is not really fun, because when you're trying and you lose to it, it's really demoralizing and demeaning to your self-esteem. It's really bad. Wow. Getting a little sidetracked here, but both players just kind of macroing up right here. Now they're getting up to 3 gates, so nothing ridiculous coming out of Protoss right now. Getting up the leg enhancements, not putting down a wicked ton of amount of gateways. Reminding me of a TSL game that I just watched, TSL 1 from White Raw versus Hydra, where I forget the map, but it definitely wasn't. It's not a common map nowadays, but. White Raw went up to 3 bases, but threw down like 8 gates, and ultimately just kind of overthrew Hydra, who just had a ton of Ooh, actually losing. That was a good run by. That was a decent amount. The cannons will finish though, so harassment's going to be a bit harder right here. But yeah, I mean, this Protoss is being pretty passive, to be honest. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just, playing very passive right now. And again, he threw up like 8 gateways and really starting to put the pressure onto Hydra. And Hydra actually was doing siege expand, so that could very be viable right here. Because if Terran, if he has 3-4 more gates coming up, or he did have, he could just stomp Terran. If you look at that game, if we see Wallace going to be having that kind of engagement right there. So looks like a couple more speed vultures coming in here, putting down a lot of mines right here. Unfortunately, probes do not set off mines for Terran, which would have been absolutely fantastic. Now Terran, now he's off of 4 factors right now, making, I believe making 2 sets of tanks per time. I believe that was, he's making a lot of vultures right now. So we're going to try to have a vulture run by right here, but he's bringing in a couple tanks right here. He has the dropship ready. Now the goons are going to be coming from right here, but this could be pretty deadly. Not going to be running over the bulk of the mines right now. So this base, if you can get the vultures in, that's going to be fantastic. This would have been really smart if you used that to be super aggressive. Oh, but he's going to pick up the tank, save the tanks. Loving that. No, will not pick up the 1 tank. But we'll save the 1 tank right here and could try to drop it behind here. But goons are already in position to shut that down. Very nice defense from Wallace right here. Wallace has actually gotten the finals of C-Rank Tours before. And I'd actually kind of like for him to win, to be honest, because he did lose. And it would be nice for him to actually get a title for himself right here. So a C-Rank Tour, definitely not an easy thing to win. Especially where you have to win multiple best of 3s, best of 1s, etc. It's not a very easy to continue going with constant wins, but someone has to do it, and I think Wallace is going to be in a position to do so. But this push could be pretty devastating. But there's a lot of goons right here, but ultimately does decide to push back right here. He's off of these 7 gates. Now he's throwing down the 8th gateway right now. Terran behind this aggression has put down a 3rd base right now. And Terran's going to be pushing in here. Does he have an answer to this? I don't think he does. He only has this group of goons, which have seemed to dwindle in number. That's very unfortunate. And setting up so many mines, Wallace may have just... Oh. Wallace is in a lot of trouble. Now just throwing down the Tribunal right here. Has a lot of zealots, so he could try to mine drag onto these tanks right now. And is Terran just going to siege up and go back home? Might be pretty difficult, as Protoss does have a decent amount of goons in the back. Here comes Wallace. Setting up a lot of mines right here. Will the Zealots be able to get onto the tanks? 2 tanks are naked right now. The Zealots aren't even going to be going for them. They're just kind of evaporating when they're coming up, with more reinforcements coming from Wallace right now. How will HanDy react right here? HanDy's still in siege mode right now, and it looks like Wallace will be able to push out of this. Now, what's back at home? More vultures are coming out right here. Vultures aren't really the best thing against goons, but if you have like 12 of them, sometimes they're okay. But more tanks. He's just continuing to rally right here. Holy shit. That was very loud. And that I believe should be game, because if he doesn't have an answer to these mines for his vultures, for these zealots, unfortunately, so he can't actually get to these tanks. That sucks for Wallace. He gets so far, and then he drops the game. Well, you can't say he didn't try. But that aggression, and that really might have been his mistake this game, to be honest. Like I said, this isn't from my personal. I'm kind of stealing ideas. I'm kind of taking Artosis' knowledge from this matchup, but essentially, because knowing that Terran isn't gonna have a super easy 3rd to take on this map because of these positions, really Protoss should have reacted accordingly to deal with this 2-base pressure. Because Terran's I mean, if you're gonna have a macro Terran's gonna hit, once they hit like 150-ish supply off of 3 base. If Terran's gonna be going for that 3-base route, but like I said, if you were to compare, the games of, Wallace and in Hydra again, White Raw threw down like 8 gates before his 3rd was even done, or even starting to warp in. And this is the last desperation attempt. He might be able to actually break through this right here, but ooh, more. Another like 6 tanks come rolling in, so that's just deadly. Ow. Ow. That sucks. that really sucks. But yeah, the main issue was he just didn't know. It really kind of should distinguish on this map, you know, knowing that the pressure should be coming on. And you know, hopefully Wallace will make better you know, decision making and a better build order choice following game 2. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this cast. It is brought to you by iCCup.com. Also, it's brought to you by iCCup.Face, of course. Hope you guys enjoy the overlay. Hope you guys enjoy the finalists as well. Congratulations to Wallace and HanDy to get this far. Thanks to iCCup.Face for running this tournament. My God, game number 2. I'm excited. Come on, Wallace. We need a comeback. I want you to win a series, dude. I want you to win. And yeah. Also, if you guys, you know, you care, you know, I'm still using that Twitter account. Any recommended VODs that I find, I update it on that. Also on the Team Liquid thread, and I also just, you know, automatically upload them to the playlist as well. And anytime I'm casting or streaming, that is also on that information. So again, it's all will be in the description of the at 140-998-1553 for my Twitter account. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and peace. Be back for game number 2.